Get started on logic. So logic is the second art of the trivium. They're very much interchangeable. I think grammar does come first, as we're kind of discussing, where you need the building blocks in order to see how they all fit together. So logic is the second part, and the definition of logic is a process of analyzing acquired knowledge, which is grammar, who, what, when, and where, to find and eliminate contradictory information in order to understand the relationship between the parts of the whole. So it's understanding the why things are the way they are. Logic was it's been developed for thousands of years. Aristotelian logic, developed by Aristotle, who was in Greek times. He kind of formalized the logic that we use today. And Ludwig Wittgenstein was a writer in the early 1900s. And he wrote a book. Well, he wrote several books. One was called I have it here. I don't have the name of it, but
Cool book.
Tractatus Logico Philosophicus. It's kind of a strange name, but Latin. And it's basically the treatise on philosophical logic. And he was voted by. They did a survey in 1999 of college professors and university professors to see what was the most influential book or work of logic in the 20th century, and that they said that Wittgenstein's book fit that category.
Wittgenstein?
Wittgenstein, how you pronounce it, yeah. And he had a couple really good quotes that I liked. Was everything that can be thought at all can be thought clearly. Everything that can be said clearly. And that's really the purpose of the trivium, is really getting our language in such a way, organizing it and structuring it in such a way that we can successfully communicate our thoughts and ideas to other individuals, to other minds. So logic is all about establishing cause and effect. It's about the why. So why things are the way they are, why one thing causes something else to happen, why it's this way and not another way. It's all about learning the timing and relationship between the parts of the whole and putting your facts to the test. So the trivium is all about questions. It's the who, what, when, where, why, how. It's all about asking questions so that we can better understand our reality. Another quote by Wittgenstein that I found really powerful is, most of the propositions and questions of philosophers arise from our failure to understand the logic of our language. Philosophy aims at the logical clarification of thoughts. Philosophy is not a body of doctrine, but an activity. So logic is a process. Grammar is as well, and so is rhetoric, but especially logic is really a process of working through all the information that you have acquired in order to make sense of it all. So that's just kind of the basic definition of logic, and then I really wanted to get into the fallacies and how logic can be distorted to kind of not to distort reality or to
Not reason well.
To not reason well, I guess. Logic is the art of reasoning, so if you have flawed reasoning, you're going to end up with faulty grammar and not communicate what you're trying to get across. So there's some examples of some kind of distorted logic. So if a parkway is for driving, what's a driveway for? There's a lot of logical fallacies built into our grammar, into our language, where words don't mean what they should. So we're kind of on unsure footing when we're using, especially English. So if a vegetarian eats vegetables, what does a humanitarian eat?
Humans, of course.
Right.
They usually go out and devour them whole.
Right. So obviously a humanitarian isn't a descriptor for your choice of diet, but it's structured in a similar way as vegetarian, which is a descriptor of your diet. So if olive oil comes from olives and corn oil comes from corn, where does baby oil come from? That's, and again, obviously, baby oil is can be named based on what it comes from or what it's used for.
It comes from your British car.
Right. Another one is, why do we call the third hand on a clock the second hand? Something to think about. All right. So now, number 5 here is, I wrote a few sentences or statements that include a number of logical fallacies, and I want to see if anybody can kind of identify any of them if you're familiar with them. So the first one, there's actually quite a few in this one. So the evening news features a clip from a highly decorated 4-star general press conference. He states, "Those against war with Antarctica are weaklings who are scared of the mighty black and white communist penguin army, and therefore trying to help the penguins establish penguin law so we'll all end up having to carry around eggs on our feet." Anybody identify any logical fallacies in that?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's coming from a 4-star general.
Right,
What it
okay.
says is it's fact.
Appeal to authority, right?
Yes,
It's a
sir.
4-star general, you gotta believe what he says.
Appeal to fear.
Appeal to fear, right? And there's
False dichotomy?
a false dichotomy. If you're not with the penguins, you're with us, right?
Yeah.
And there's also the slippery slope, right?
Yeah, therefore.
Yeah, with the therefore.
I wouldn't know how to describe them, but I saw an awful lot of innuendo in there.
But that's
Turning a person from where he wasn't to where everyone would assume he was because he wasn't there.
yes. A logical fallacy logical fallacies use a lot of innuendo.
News media
and-
does it to us every day, regularly on the news.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one we got is 9 out of 10 dentists recommend your newly rediscovered ancient Chinese secret to whiter teeth: a weekly fluoride injection. Your neighbors all got theirs, so get yours today before supplies run out. Yeah, appeal to popularity, appeal to masses, yes. Appeal to authority with the dentists, yes. There's also
like purchasing before supplies run out. What would you call that? I mean,
right. That was one I actually had trouble
Appeal to
finding, but it's
antiquity.
gotta be- Appeal to antiquity, and appeal to novelty. Both. It's the newly discovered ancient Chinese secret.
Appeal to emotion, got whiter teeth.
Right. Appeal to emotion. Appeal to tradition, and the bandwagon, because your neighbors got theirs, you should get yours too. And so the last one we got is, so you question if the moon landing was real or staged. You're one of those conspiracy theories, aren't you? Conspiracy theorists, aren't you? What's it like believing that the Tooth Fairy conspired with 18 of Santa's elves to carry out 9/11? I bet everyone you've talked to thinks you are absolutely crazy.
Straw man?
Straw man ad hominem, appeal to ridicule, and a hasty generalization. So everyone you've talked to must think you're crazy.
The very first sentence uses the term conspiracy theory, which is a putting together of two words that are totally unrelated to each other to evoke in the mind of the listener some nebulous image of the person you're accusing.
So that's an appeal to emotion, where you
Yeah.
establish an
And there's
emotional
no
connection with
reality in
words
there
that
at all.
doesn't necessarily have any impact.
There
Ad
are
hominem.
conspiracies, there are
You're
theories.
crazy, this, that, and the other, attacking the person, not the argument.
Yep.
Where would like loaded language be coming to play? Because nowadays, conspiracy theorist is a loaded word.
Yeah,
Like,
boy,
it's used to shut down conversations.
That's not necessarily one of the named fallacies, but that can be a fallacious argument. It's these are the informal fallacies, but then there's also fallacies of form, where you're not stating things in the correct order or in the correct way. So it would fit in with the fallacies. I don't know if it's necessarily a named
How
one.
this technique.
Right. Yeah.
Understanding the grammar correctly.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff is related, where it's the grammar can be messed up, or the logic can be messed up, or the rhetoric is not truthful or honest. So, any questions about logic or anything else?
I just would say an awful lot of people progress from grammar to rhetoric and skip the logic stuff.
Right. Yeah.
In your
We're taught what the
demonstrations
words
there,
mean, and then we're fed
there
our
was very
rhetoric.
little
We
logic
skip all
involved.
the
Yeah.
making sense of it all. Yeah.
And we have the problem I wanted to allude to earlier is that we train ourselves by the experiences we have and what we listen to and what we read. to either develop our logic or to ignore it.
Right.
It is a feature in our, it is up to us to choose, but we don't realize we're making the choice because it's a subconscious choice.
That's what we're learning this
Primarily,
Trivium helps us
primarily
become more aware
what
of
he's
it.
speaking about and what you're speaking about, I've learned in Catholic school in 7th grade. The 7th fallacy. Also, to get through high school, I had to have 4 years of Greek, 3 years of Greek, 4 years of Latin, plus the foreign language. All this from the time of the 60s has been eliminated in 10-year span. It's obvious to me when I sit here, you guys are going over many things that Life Journey would show you if the encoding was offered to you. For the sake of expediency, what we're all being turned into is consumers. We're offered that by the controllers,
Yeah.
the trolls under the bridge.
It's-
The word I'm conveying is con.
Yeah, we're all being.
When he began speaking, he spoke about community.
Yes.
The word to commune comes first. Otherwise, there's no community.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What we're doing is going so fast and parsing what I have learned in my whole life journey, and this gentleman too, is due to age time platform layers of what's really going on in this planet. It's beautiful. All of you are opening up to thirst. The first thirst is what is self. What is self? That's the person who's observing and learning. What you guys went through is a thing called neurolinguistics. You all saw a movie maybe called The Gods Must Be Crazy. That's the tribe they study because original man, everybody was black and brown until Noah's son. And that's the first white kid on the block. If you want to be honest, we're all one family.
Yes.
Period.
Of course.
If you want to be honest, I just saw a movie the other night called 10,000 BC. I realized when I watched the credits, it came out of Germany, the producer. They use Africa and India, which is the oldest civilization. The Africans formed the civilization called China, the Zhang dynasty. When people start studying where knowledge paths come from, that's the journey I got put on from the moment I was raised in Germany, in Ansbach, Nuremberg, Bayreuth, and Dachau, where Vice President Prince is right now. When you hear other human beings, you're gonna hear their heart. The heart is the first thing on earth inside the human flesh bag. It's the pumping engine, the air, the gift of life was put into. When we look at the ox with the circle top and the delta bottom, we all came to earth through the water woman. Good to hear. We came to the ethers in transmuting through many lifetimes in this journey. When I was 19, I was in Boulder, Colorado. I was producing lots of concerts. I brought in Hendrix, lots of people on their first tours, Joe Cocker, Alvin Lee, 10 years after. I was from the family dog that originated here in San Francisco at Sutter and Van Ness. we were mimicked by a guy called Bill Graham. Why? Because we were all acid heads. And we couldn't even account for the word breaking even, phrase breaking even. Because, you know, it'd be something where Reverend Chet Hills like, oh, Bob, he's a reverend. He brought Janis Joplin out here. We can play with all these terms. Let's speak from life and journey. If we do so, these terms will make sense. Not dollars. That's the paradigm we're living in. It's the bullfucking shit that's destroying everybody. We are in the United States of corn fusion. The native people of Mexico grew corn from a blade of grass. It took hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to form popcorn, hominy, and all these things. Ultimately, when people are brought from Europe, peons, bought and sold with the land by kings and queens living in PTS, who had been living in caves when the pyramids were built, where Kemet knowledge is the source of all this.
It's beautiful. I think we should schedule a time for you to talk. But let's
Sorry.
honor, no, you're fine. Let's honor, do you have anything else in logic?
You're good.
You know,
Okay, wonderful. It's brilliant. I'd hate to cut you off, but just to keep
No,
keep it
I don't know.
under a
I
time
know better.
constraint.
No,
It's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your words. They're very powerful.
sorry.
Anything else?
All right, I think with that, JL's gonna give us some rhetoric.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much.